Chat, today we are watching Terrifying Cult Still Operating today. Before we start this video, I want to say go follow my Twitch, xyvf_live3 in the description or in the description on my profile, so you can see me react to these live instead of watching the VODs, unless you prefer to do that. Okay, let's get into it.
And finally, after several minutes, this 40-year-old woman says she has turned into a 35,000-year-old man.
How do you even turn that out in 2 seconds?
Now. There he met some extraterrestrials in their spaceship.
Huh?
Is this a cult? Definitely not.
You talk to your kids about drugs and alcohol, but you never think to coach your kids on a cult.
My friends, cults are not a thing of the past. They are part of the...
I'm gonna keep it a buck, yeah. If you come across a cult, chat, we all know we're fucking running. We just see like a cult, we're gone.
present.
We all
Some of
know.
the worst cults have evolved with the times. They still recruit followers, silence doubters, and continue their creepy rituals. In this video, we'll explore terrifying cults still operating today. We'll begin with the strange ones and save the worst for last. So as you guys can probably hear right now, I'm pretty sick, but the show must...
By the way, guys, if I'm like really quiet during this video or I don't speak much, it's because I'm pulling all night. I had to fix my sleep schedule, so don't question it too much. I'm okay. I'm just tired.
go on. I would hate to miss a weekly upload for you guys, so it would mean the world if you subscribe to keep us growing. I'm Visual Venture, and you are awesome. The Raelian Movement. The Raelian Movement is a global cult. It has 130,000 members across 120 countries. And every member believes the same thing, that aliens created all life on Earth. But that's only part of the story. Their main goal is to build an embassy to welcome those aliens back to Earth. It sounds strange, but they believe all this because of something that happened 50 years ago. The cult started with a man named Claude Vorilhon. He had a long list of failures. Claude tried to make it as a musician and failed. Then he tried to become a race car driver and failed again, but his life changed on December 13th, 1973. That day, Claude...
Chat, I'm gonna keep it real. I think that if you're failing that much, you've just got to push that extra mile harder. Don't switch paths, just push that extra mile harder and you'll get to where you want. That's why I'm still streaming today, because I want to push that extra mile. I want to make it. You know what I mean?
allegedly saw an alien in a park in France.
There he met, listen to me closely now, there he met some extraterrestrials in their spaceship.
According to him, a flying saucer landed in the field. A small alien stepped out. It looked human, but it had green skin and a goatee beard. But the real shock wasn't how they...
Okay, this tracks me back. I know that this is off topic. Skip ahead if you want to. What I'm saying is, you see them other planets that are like, what's it? There's other planets that are exactly like Earth, but they're just covered in water because there's so much water and there's no islands poking out. We all essentially live on islands, whether you want to believe it or not. We all live on islands, and there is multiple Earths in the atmosphere. There's so many Earths in space. Like, you can't even say this is the only Earth. It might be the only Earth with this technology. Maybe. You never know.
alien looked. It was what it said. The alien told Claude that it was one of the Elohim. They were a race of advanced beings who lived on a perfect planet where the most intelligent are in charge. They've mastered genetic modification. They lived 10 times longer than humans. An alien claimed they created humans.
And in these laboratories, thanks to DNA and genetic combination, they created all life on Earth. It means trees, animals, and man.
See, look, this is what I mean. Like, I don't have anything against people that believe in God, but it's kind of like this. Like, I can't believe in it until I see proof. I need to see definitive proof that it is what it is to actually believe in it. Like, motherfuckers will say, just believe in him. I can't.
Since that creation, the Elohim have been watching humanity from afar. One day, they would return to Earth. But first, humans needed to build them an embassy. Here's what the alien embassy is supposed to look like.
It's his ambition to build the structure shown in this model near Jerusalem. Its purpose? to welcome the alien race.
When the embassy is complete, the Elohim would come back to reveal their scientific knowledge to humanity. But how did Claude fit into their plans? The alien made Claude Elohim's prophet on Earth. He was ordered to spread their message and build their embassy. The alien even gave him a new name, Rael. When Claude returned home, he started telling everyone about the aliens. Interestingly, they listened. He also held conferences about his experience. His first conference attracted 2,000 people.
Most of these people were obsessed with UFOs and wanted to know more about the Elohim, and a few of these people actually believed every word.
In 1976, Claude, now called Rael, founded the Raelian movement. He traveled the world recruiting members. By 1995, the movement had about 40,000 members across 85 countries. Every member was required to donate 10% of their income.
And
The
a
money
year, that's 10 grand.
was
that
to
you gotta give
finance
them.
the construction of an embassy for the Elohim. But Raelism wasn't just about aliens. It promoted ideas that seemed progressive. The cult supported equality for all. They also believed in using science to improve life on Earth. But the most controversial belief was about human cloning, and the Raelians were determined to do it.
I was the first on the earth to say human cloning is coming very soon.
In 1997, the cult formed a company called Clonaid. Its goal was simple: create the first human clone.
Now we have 3 scientists working almost full-time in a lab here in the United States.
Their scientists worked long and hard. Then in 2002, Clonaid made a huge announcement. They claimed they successfully cloned a human. Clonaid shared almost no details about
How smart have you got to be to fucking clone someone? You got to be the smartest motherfucker in the room.
their supposed clone. The main thing they said was that a 31-year-old woman donated her DNA for the cloning process. And the baby, the first human clone, was named Eve. Obviously, the news made headlines, but the reaction wasn't all positive. Many hated the idea of human clones.
There's so many disastrous things that can come about from somebody doing this with a bad motive.
People demanded proof. But
That is true though. If you got a bad motive and like you're fucking, what is it? You're fucking cloning people. You could have infinite kids. You can genuinely have infinite kids and then just go, "Hey, motherfucker, go rob that store." Okay, man. Fucking just 50 kids run to the store, just rob everything.
Clonaid was very secretive. They refused to say where the clone baby was born, identify her parents, or even provide a picture. Still, the Raelians celebrated. To them, their scientists did exactly what the Elohim did: create human life in a laboratory. Over the next few years, Clonaid claimed to have created dozens more human clones. But again, they provided no evidence. Despite the controversy, the Raelian movement kept expanding. Today, it has a surprising 130,000 followers worldwide. They're still working on building that alien embassy. Claude, aka Rael, is still
nowadays they're building that.
their leader. He claims he has visited the
He's still their
Elohim's
leader.
planet in outer space. And there, Jesus, Moses, Muhammad, and other prophets continue to live through human cloning. The members of this next cult were literally hypnotized by their leader, Buddhafield. People thought they were signing up for acting classes. Instead, they accidentally joined a cult. And the cult leader was their charismatic acting coach, Michel Rostand. Michel always wanted to be famous. He was obsessed. He tried to make it as an actor in Hollywood, but his career never took off. To pay the bills, he started teaching acting in Florida. But during those classes, things took a strange turn. Michel began slipping in ideas about philosophy and meditation. He spoke about a mysterious guru who led him to a great spiritual awakening. His students were fascinated.
I think he soon realized that he was having more success kind of channeling that spiritual side of him than the acting side of
Chat, I'm so tired. I'm having trouble holding my head up. That is bad.
him.
There was no evidence that
So, I'm
Michel
gonna be
ever had a
fucking
guru. Some thought
comfy.
he was just making up stories, but his students were young and impressionable, so they ate it all up. By the mid-1980s, Michel rebranded. He was now a spiritual guru with superpowers.
He was Michel, a self-proclaimed enlightened being who claimed to transmit divine energy.
His acting students became his disciples. Together, they formed a new movement. They called their group Buddhafield. Not long after starting the cult, Michel moved back to West Hollywood. His followers went with him. They rented homes near each other and lived like one big family.
We were together 24/7. We lived together. We ate together, played together. Everybody that I knew was in the Buddha field.
Everyone contributed money to support the group. Everyone except for Michel and his inner circle. They didn't work. They didn't have jobs. It was the lower levels that funded Michel and his inner circle. Michel didn't lift a finger. His followers bathed him, massaged him, and cooked his meals. Sometimes they even tucked him into bed at night. To outsiders,
So they cooked for him, they paid him, they fucking just do everything for him basically. They tuck him in bed at night. Why are you, a child?
it looked like
Come on.
exploitation, but Michel convinced his followers that serving him was necessary for their spiritual growth, and they believed him because he was hypnotizing them. Every weekend, Michel held private cleansing sessions with each follower. Each cost $50. Followers said they felt lighter afterward. Some even claimed they were healed. They thought it was because Michel had divine powers. But the truth was far more scientific. Michel was actually a licensed hypnotherapist, but he hid that fact from everyone. He wasn't performing miracles during these sessions. He was hypnotizing his followers. But he used hypnosis for another, darker purpose. He made them drop all defenses and confess their most private thoughts.
I divulged every secret, every thought, every fear.
Michel used those secrets to control them. He dictated who they could love, who they could trust, and who they had to cut off. Romantic relationships were forbidden. Friendships outside the cult were banned, leaving Buddha field.
So you can't have a boyfriend / girlfriend. You can't do any of that. Like you can't have friends outside the cult. You're just basically a fucking like you're just a puppet.
Was considered betrayal. Soon, their world became small. The only place that felt safe was inside the cult. In 1993, the FBI raided a compound of a different cult in Waco, Texas. During the clash with law enforcement, dozens lost their lives. Cult members who resisted were arrested. Michel was terrified when he heard the news. He believed the government would target Buddha Field next. His paranoia took over. He ordered his followers to hide their lives from their families. He planted spies to monitor anyone who tried to leave. He even broke into former members' homes to destroy evidence. Then, at the height of his fear, his secret came out. For nearly 20 years, Michel's followers believed he was divine. That illusion shattered in 2006. A former follower found out about Michel's hypnotherapy license. Then, they sent an email to Buddha Field members. The message exposed everything. The supernatural experiences were actually hypnosis. Michel's powers were a lie. The email split the cult in half. Some refused to accept it. Others finally saw the manipulation. Many left. A few remained loyal. After the scandal, Michel wanted a fresh start, so he moved to Hawaii with his most loyal followers. He still runs Buddha Field in Hawaii today. His next cult believes in lizard people. Ramtha School of Enlightenment. This cult became famous for one bizarre reason. Its founder claimed she was channeling the spirit of a 35,000-year-old warrior. That ancient warrior was called Ramtha, and the woman channeling him was Judy Zebra Knight. Knight said the spirit first contacted her in 1977. She was at home in Washington when a glowing figure appeared.
I thought I was seeing things because I had tears in my eyes, and I wiped the tears away, and here stood this entity at 2:30 in the afternoon in my kitchen.
That glowing figure introduced himself as Ramtha, the Enlightened One. He said he possessed ancient wisdom and the secret to happiness. Ramtha supposedly taught Knight how to leave her body and channel him. That meant Ramtha could take over her body and speak through her. Knight would enter a trance, then her voice would become deep and masculine.
And finally, after several minutes, this 40-year-old woman says she has turned into a 35,000-year-old man.
Knight began channeling Ramtha publicly in 1978. Through her, Ramtha preached every human was their own god. Ramtha also said people could shape reality and heal themselves with their minds.
Is it possible to have mind over matter? Baby, the brain is king. The body is the kingdom.
It was a message people wanted to believe. By 1988, Knight had thousands of devoted followers. That year, she opened the Ramtha School of Enlightenment. The school offered classes and retreats. A single class cost around $400, but retreats could cost as much as $1,500. Many
Who's got the money for that shit, bro? I know people, obviously people that work, but like, who the fuck's paying that?
Followers moved near the campus to be close to their teacher. The school became a multi-million-dollar business. But as the school grew, Ramtha's teachings became troubling. Through Knight, Ramtha started making frightening prophecies.
He has a ton of predictions and beliefs about the New World Order, viruses, vaccines, plagues, and natural disasters.
One time, she predicted a massive flood was coming. She told followers to move inland.
One should leave that which is called the beaches and seek higher ground.
Over 1,500 people obeyed. They abandoned their homes and relocated inland. That shows how much control she had over her followers. There were more bizarre teachings. She spoke about lizard people living inside mountains. She warned that anyone who left the cult might be eaten by the lizard people. Outsiders believed she was manipulating gullible followers. They accused her of being a spiritual predator. There were also allegations that Knight's teachings made some of her members lose their lives. For instance, several followers had serious medical conditions. Instead of sending them to hospitals, Knight claimed Ramtha could heal them. She hugged them, spoke comforting words, and declared them cured. Many were never healed. They passed away.
This lady went home from there, died of pneumonia.
Today, Jay-Z Knight is in her 70s. She still channels Ramtha at her Washington compound. The Ramtha School of Enlightenment now has branches in more than 35 countries. This next cult also promised healing, but just gave lies.
Motherfucker's a millionaire.
Universal Medicine. The Universal Medicine cult began in the most unlikely place, a bathroom. In September 1999, Serge Benhayan was relieving himself. Suddenly, he had a spiritual revelation.
And I just gave myself a time to sit and feel that moment. And I could feel something really, really beautiful.
Serge never fully explained what that revelation actually was, but it inspired him to start Universal Medicine in Australia. The group was marketed as a healing center, but critics called it something else, a socially dangerous and socially harmful cult. And once you hear Serge's teachings, you'll understand why. He preached that people born with disabilities were being punished or being dictators in a past life.
They are almost incarnates of corrupt politicians, corrupt generals, army people, dictators.
Serge also warned that certain foods carried dark energy that poisoned the body. Foods like cinnamon, potatoes, and carrots. Eating them allowed evil forces to enter the body and cause disease.
Holy shit, the bed.
But there was one way to get rid of that.
Shall we have like half the video left?
Burping. In other words, people would literally burp their way to healing.
She started burping all over the place, going bleh, bleh. And after a while, we said, "What on earth are you doing?" And she said, "I'm getting rid of evil spirits."
Universal Medicine also sold teas, herbal elixirs, and creams that supposedly helped with this cleansing. To people desperate for healing, Serge was a savior. Thousands joined his movement. They attended retreats, bought his products, and built their lives around his teachings. Many swore they felt better.
I wouldn't keep paying if I didn't feel that I was getting something out of it. He just had a really refreshing take on things, and he just seemed really down to earth.
Before long, Universal Medicine became a multi-million-dollar empire. But Serge had other commands for his followers, and those were far more controversial than burping rituals. Serge allegedly encouraged followers to cut ties with their families. Their new family was the Universal Medicine community. When someone challenged the cult, they were told they would have a baby with Down syndrome as karma for judging others. The cult also targeted people on their deathbeds. According to reports, terminally...
That's horrible. Oh. That's horrible, chat. Oh shit, let me lock in.
The ill followers
were
told not to leave their money to their kids. If they did, their kidney energy would be damaged in the next life. Instead, they had to leave their inheritance to the cult, and many obeyed. One woman left Serge $1.4 million when she passed. Her family sued Universal Medicine, fighting to get the money back. For years, these stories stayed below the radar. Universal Medicine operated quietly in the shadows, until one woman decided to expose them. Esther Rocket was a journalist. She heard about Universal Medicine, and in 2005, she decided to experience it for herself. Esther attended one of their group healing sessions. What she saw horrified her.
He had about 60 people in this room on treatment tables, and he'd closed all the curtains so that it was completely dark.
During the session, people screamed and cried as if they were possessed. Esther was convinced something was deeply wrong with the group.
I thought again about going to the police, but what do you tell them? this guy's doing exorcisms on people.
So Esther spent the next few years investigating universal medicine. She posted everything she discovered on her blog, and every story was darker than the last. There were cases of emotional abuse, inheritance manipulation, and disturbing healing practices. Esther published it all, but universal medicine didn't appreciate the bad publicity. So in 2015, they sued Esther for defamation. It totally backfired. During the trial, the court reviewed Esther's evidence. They heard testimonies from former members of the cult. The court sided with Esther. They declared universal medicine a socially harmful cult. The jury also said that Serge used manipulation to make money and vilified people with disabilities. Universal medicine was ordered to pay Esther
What does vilified mean?
Rocket $1.2 million in damages. Despite the verdict, Serge wasn't criminally charged. Today, Universal Medicine still operates in Australia. They still hold retreats, sell healing products, and teach people to burp away evil spirits. Up next is a cult so extreme, some members ended up behind bars. The Remnant Fellowship. This cult started out as a weight loss program. In 1986, Gwen Shamblin launched the weight.
Her people weren't consistently losing weight because they weren't being faithful to him.
The weight down workshop was hardcore. Followers were told to eat only 10 bites of food a day. If they didn't lose 2, deported back to India in 1986. Back in India, Rajneesh and his followers continued the cult. He passed away in 1990, but the Rajneesh movement still operates in India, run by his remaining disciples. This next cult was created by a computer scientist in Silicon Valley, the Zizians. The Zizians are one of the most violent cults in modern history. Their philosophy can be summed up in one belief: violence is the answer.
Zizians would believe that, the end justifies the means. So if the means mean, well, so be it.
The end justifies the means. For them, that phrase wasn't a metaphor. If you wanted something, you took it. If someone stood in your way, you removed them. If that meant breaking the law or even taking a life, it didn't matter. The cult was created by a woman named Jack Lazoda, which called herself Ziz. Around 2016, Ziz began posting long blogs about her philosophy. She wrote that violence can be excused in service of the greater good. She also fantasized about what would happen if society were to strip away morality. Her extreme ideas attracted a devoted online following. They met in chat rooms, then later in person. Over time, Ziz's supporters began calling themselves Zizians. What started as one woman's blog was now a cult that glorified violence. In 2020, several Zizians moved into a trailer park in California. They had no plans to pay rent. When the landlord demanded payment, they ignored him. When he tried to evict them, they fought back. They just lived there illegally, refusing to leave.
Despite his best efforts, Lind remained unable to remove the Zizians for years.
Eventually, the landlord took them to court and won. A judge issued an eviction order against the Zizians. That's when the Zizians decided to act on their own violent beliefs. 2 days before the eviction, they attacked the landlord. It was brutal. Then they fled the trailer park, believing they ended the landlord, but they hadn't. Another tenant found him and rushed him to the hospital.
He had to be hospitalized for a month, but he made it. He survived.
When the Zizians heard the landlord was still alive, they were furious. And although they were wanted by the police, they wanted to finish the job. So the Zizians risked everything, came back to California, and jumped the landlord again. This time, he didn't survive. But that was just the beginning of the Zizians' crime spree. In Pennsylvania, one member allegedly ended her parents. Another Zizian ended a U.S. Border Patrol agent in Vermont. She did it because the officer stopped her for a routine inspection. Soon, the Zizians were responsible for multiple crimes across 3 states. But living as fugitives wasn't as easy as they imagined. Law enforcement made them a top priority. By early 2025, 4 Zizians were captured. One was the cult founder herself, Ziz.
A person named Jack Lazoda, who goes by the name Ziz online, was arrested yesterday in Maryland.
The remaining Zizians went into hiding. Police are still searching for them. Their blogs and forums are still active. Their violent ideology is still being shared. Even with their leader in custody, the cult is still operating in the shadows. My friends, manipulation doesn't always look evil. Sometimes it looks like community. Sometimes it looks like healing. Sometimes it even looks like love. But if someone isolates you from your family, empties your bank account, and threatens you if you try to leave, that's not love. That's evil. Visual Venture.
WR's video, bro. I'm getting off stream. I'm going to bed. Can't lie.